Cips clip.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Cips clips.
And alrighty, Pip Chips. Another one of Kip's clips finally got there, man. What a fucking palaver. It's my own fault. I leave everything to the last second to set up, then if anything goes wrong, man, it's a pain in the fucking ass, especially when you don't know what's going on. But in the evening, Marty and Magic, make sure you give us a shout, mate, if you want shown around town. Which I'll be doing for you guys tomorrow. I couldn't get my shit over to Seville. Finances and logistics, basically, man. It was looking good as an offer came in for get underneath a blanket in the back of a van and hope for the best, take your passport and hope for your best. But to get into Spain, to get into the planes in Spain, it has to rain on the planes in Spain. No, to get into Spain, you still need to get fucking vaxxed and shit. Not, or proof that you've had it within. How do you prove that you had it? I've got it. Give me a fucking something to write on or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm as organised as I'm never really organised. But I did. So long story short, couldn't get myself over to Seville. I was willing to spend $1,000 in the whole thing, getting there and going home. The times and the flights and oh man. But over 120,000 the last reports I heard in the Scotland Today news tonight. I know, mate, there's a fire behind me. Hold on. I just realised I could actually position the dragon's head a wee bit better. Let me see. Oh, there we go, that's the business. What I need to do is get a wee platform for the dragon. You'll get a full silhouette of it. But mate, no worry, I've got a fire blanket and fire extinguisher in the kitchen, fully prepared, and the new, fully functioning fucking, the fully upgraded smoke alarms that you need to have that will talk to each other. I think it's the FBI listening to us, to be honest, but don't tell Dave Dyke that. Now, so later on, I'm going to touch on. I've not been here during the week, and I've not prepared any shit because my mom's getting new windies in, and I've been elsewhere doing other stuff and tired and stuff. So priorities, but I've got some stuff. So I thought I'd take a look at the UK fifth colon again. Because I tried to, I had some spare time today, I tried to watch a wee bit of their last programme, just to get a flavour of what they're doing, because I don't watch the UK column. I don't watch them anymore as I used to because of up the jars. I know, mate. I don't watch them that much or come across them as much as I used to because of the whole off boob tube thing. So they're on one of those alt-right alternatives. Real funny seeing that. See that fucking... See that fire, man? It gives off some fucking heat, I tell you, man. Stuffy in here in 2 seconds. So I'm going to touch on and watch a wee bit of the UK fifth column. Maybe have a wee look at what's on my YouTube subscriptions, because I'm not really that. I don't even know what's happened to Ukraine. What's happening in Ukraine? Last thing I heard that Russia let all the Azov Brigade, 200 of them out, but they're keeping them prisoner. And fucking I was going to say petrodollar Poroshenko, but that was one of the last shells. Oh, I've been away so long. Anyway, that the cocaine sniffing Ukrainian president, he came out and said, "I have saved 200 of my men." Saved them by handing them over to the Russians, and when the Russians because the Russians were letting anybody that was willing to get vetted to get out of Dodge, and the people that were remaining were the ones that weren't willing to get vetted, or just the stubborn bastards or the hardcore Nazis. And what's the betting that within, it's probably happening just now, that what you'll see pictures of these prisoners put out by Russia with them standing with their fucking t-shirts off with all their Nazi symbolism and all that, and Russia will be going, look, it was Vladolf, Putler, look, Putler, we have brilliant pictures, look, Putler, we have the pictures that'll stick it to the West. I've loved just the funniness of watching how the Western media have reported on that. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, in a way, like you will find reports, worrying reports, in Western press, God knows, going back God knows how long, talking about the neo-Nazis of the Azov Brigade. That's who's held up underneath that steelwork. And here's a kicker. It was where the Nazis held up in World War II. They're not doing it because they want to make steel. They're not really just interested in making steel for the world and building buildings and getting girders because Iron Brew needs them. They're in that steel factory because of, by design, by accident. I don't know the technical mechanics of it all, but it's got like fucking underground bunkers that you basically like. I don't think there's any bombs you can drop legally, apart from maybe a nuclear one that can penetrate it. In fact, no, I lie. They are nuclear bunkers. I've heard, and if the report I heard saying that is to be believed, you can hear a grinding sound. You should hear nothing now, just my voice. Trying to think. Honestly, like, see, I just want things back to the good old days. So find a wee bit of stuff about that. The UK fifth colon. Then just because I want to talk about Rangers and Seville tomorrow, and the final should never get moved to Seville. The final the destination of the final shouldn't be decided. Shouldn't be confirmed or decided until after the two finalists are decided. in the sense it will make it easier logistically and all that for the fans to get there. I know it doesn't work that way, but is he trying to get Seville to Seville in 48 hours, 24, 48 hours kind of thing? You can't, especially when it's like an occasion like this. Prices are just doubling. For me to get a flight today that would get me there in time to drive from Alicante to Seville, I'd had to pay $1,000 for a return flight. And then you need to get that. Then you'd be in Alicante. You'd need to get to Alicante to Seville, which takes, believe it or not, about 5 fucking hours unless you have a flight, which is in about another £200. Nightmare, absolute fucking nightmare. So just to recap, I've not had much time to put in a lot of shit during the week. I'll do as much as I can to get up to date with the news as of today, but I wanted to touch base and maybe remind a few folk of the UK colon, because they're still, the UK fifth colon, sorry, because they're still out there doing their thing, and people are unaware of where they come from, who they're associated with, where their money comes from, their associations in the past, the TV channels that they've had on Sky, the People's Voice, David Icke. And everybody just thinks they're out there fighting for freedom. That's what you think if you believe their rhetoric. You must remember anti-troll. That anti-troll? Who's the anti-troll? See people who go out there and call themselves trolls and participate in all that shit. What a bunch of absolutely backward-minded fuckwits. See, once they start tightening up all the fucking the Wild West shit of the internet, where you can go anywhere, say anything, do anything, and all still be anonymous unless you're murdering some cunt or planning to fucking bomb the Taj Mahal, that's all going to end shortly. In fact, I think it has ended. I think they've put new legislation in. These idiots who, for some reason, take sadistic pleasure out of going about the online and like having competitions with their fucking pals about who can wind people up the most. Some guy London accent. I have no idea we are. Jedi, Lieutenant Jedi. Anywho, I'm going to try and remember how to work this shit. Alright, there we go. Just doing a wee bit of research on my own for tomorrow. Because as I said, what I'm going to do, by the way, tomorrow, is I'm going to take a wee wonder at some point, doing a live stream. Let's see if it'll work. The town will be bouncing tomorrow, man. And I'm going to try and get there a wee bit here early before kick-off. Have a wee saunter around George Square and whatnot, taking in sights and scenes. And then try and just find the best boozer that's streaming it. I know where I've got my heart set on. It shall remain anonymous, but you need to poke geek. It's like going out on a Saturday night. You know, you can't. It's like trying to find that like, space in a boozer on a Saturday night in the town. It just doesn't happen. So you need to find the best case scenario of watch to beer ratio ability. Or get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, get yourself a fucking bar stool, take it to the toilet with you. One of the two, but so as you can see, this is the UK the UK fifth colon news from the 16th. But before I get into that, I did do a wee bit of bullcrap. I wanted to talk about a few of these things. Well, this is just hilarious. The Rangers fans were so desperate to get to Seville one of them. Smart motherfucker, I guarantee he ended up there. Strange cryptic letters. What's happened with Tommy? Is that what I'm deciphering from your comment? I can't make head nor tails of it. Hello, Martin Magic Magnets and CFB. I have no idea what's happening with Tommy this week. You know, like, it's like hating. It's like, just take a fucking break, man. These clowns like that are going to be about for a very long fucking time. It's getting harder for them to do it on the social medias because they're getting locked down. During lockdown, social media started to get locked down. Anyway, what a sensible man. I don't think he can spell though. But I thought that was well funny. Now, it's very weird. I don't know, man. It's the same folk with the same strokes. Lost my moose. Lost about the house. But these are videos discussing Brian Gerrish's dislike for the political charity Common Purpose. Now, when you start asking yourself questions, not about what they're saying, right? That's fair dues, because they're not up there because they're shite at presenting and they can't fucking sway people, they can't curry people's favour, right? That's not what they're there for. They're there because the opposite. They're very good at greasing the little shaft, getting everybody tuned to the moon. But if you look at what Common Purpose is, it's a political charity and these people demonise them, constantly demonise them, constantly demonise them. I was like, what the fuck? So I looked into political purpose and all that and listened to all their shite. But also done my same due diligence and found out that the UK column and all their crew and all their fucking alliances are pretty much on board with the UK... No, sorry, that's not it. The British Constitution Group. I must have videos detailing all this in very... going through it very well. About how Brian Gerrish and all their ilk hide behind the UK column. They make up a hashtag like David Scott Northern Exposure. I looked into that. Northern Exposure isn't anything. It's just a name that David Scott gave himself. These people are all members and associates with the British Constitution Group. The reason being is the UK column used to use the British Constitution Group's headquarters as their business address. I think they've changed it now because they've went to Plymouth and stuff. I'm not really as up to date as I used to be. But that's exactly what they are. So you have one political charity, British Constitution Group, who are a registered charity under the guise of a political charity, putting together pieces on YouTube and social media, wrapped up in all sorts of stuff, telling you that Common Purposes are bad. Can you see that while disguising themselves as independent fucking media? None of these guys are independent. They've got a dog in the fight. They won't tell you that because then the gig is up for them. But they still pull the wool over so many people's eyes. I can't remember some of the stuff I got up here. I got to this channel via the power of looking for Brian Gerrish's video. It wasn't him that filmed it, by the way. It was just him in a workers' club, which he done a complete, I don't know if he still does the workers' men's working clubs circuit. And he was talking about chemtrails. Now, at the time when I seen that, I think I believed in chemtrails. I think my head was still up my arse and I never questioned any of this stuff, and I was just so far consuming the cults, YouTube recommended video shit, that I was ball deep. God knows how many hours I lost fucking watching reptoid videos. Look, the man blinked, you can see the lizard eyes. Fuck's sake, in hindsight, now that you educate yourself what's actually going on there. What a fuck, I'm talking to myself, what a fucking fool for falling for it. Or not having the penny not dropping. There's idiots on YouTube that will tell you fucking anything for any reason. And you best quit and all the internet and social medias. And it's been hijacked with the same people it's been hijacked with the same people that run TV and all that shit. Or have got a reason to curry people's favour. So what's this? 10 reasons I'm sure why Brian Gerrish is a shell. Now let's go through this. This will be funny. Number 1. Brian apparently got funding from Sheila Butler, the daughter of Lord Kitchener, who set up genuine concentration camps in the Boer War. Woo! Yeah, baby! Why doesn't that surprise me? And it fits in with the British Constitution group. If you know your world history and your politics and stuff, and if you know what the Boer War was, and who was involved and where their kind of heart is at, then you know it fits in to why Brian Gerrish isn't a independent journalist. Old man concerned that you're getting shafted off the Illuminati that's invaded our government. Never mentions the JNC throughout his whole body of work, and like these shells propagandist rhetoric of a Nazi state, that should ring alarm bells with any truther. GNC has Jewish working for. Oh, look at this. Has a Jewish woman working for him. That, oh man, I don't know about you. That just proves everything to me. Well, it's proved one thing. The person that's wrote this website is a fucking Fruit Loop Jew hater. Which is quite funny. I mean, what kind of fucking small-minded motherfucker? And I suppose when I was ball deep in all this mind-bending bullcrap, I was prone to this kind of shit as well. So I'm not excluding myself for this, although it does seem that way, but I'm not. But what kind of small-minded motherfucker excludes, like, I don't know, uses that as some sort of a, oh, did you see how he touched a Jew? Oh, look, he's twice, third time removed for an Ashkenazi Jew back in the day. He's clearly in with the Rothschilds. You know, people that actually fucking are bod deep in, their heads are gone, man. You know, see when you watch YouTube and there's people that think when a helicopter flies over their house, it's there for them. You're fucking crazy. The guest on this is a Liberty. Funny idiot. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who that is, mate. I know who that is. Oh, sorry, I'm talking to my Skype. Right, so fuck's sake. Right, I'm not reading the rest. I'll show you it. I'm not hiding anything. I just fucking, once you notice that Kate, who propagates anti-Islamic posts, what on earth is going on there? What is going on there? Had attended a dinner, sweet award ceremony at a Scientology centre in Sussex to receive award for his efforts. Right, and I... Sorry, I'm not reading it out. I'll let you all read it because It's just, I have a reliable source. And then this one as well. The logo of the British Constitution Group is a Union Jack with a dove. But I don't know about you. I was unsure about fucking Brian Gerrish being a shell until I seen a bird in front of a flag. Probably means something to somebody somewhere. What does it mean? Nobody knows. What's this? Oh, this was one of it. This is just one of his shindigs.
What are we? Dissidents?
This is what he does for like an hour and a half. Right, I might, like, if I get bored with the UK column down the road, I can stick that one a wee bit. Right, done with that shite. Digger for truth. He touched a Jew. Now, this is the stuff I love, the business connections, like way back when, do you know, before the fucking boob tubes and the internet was in everybody's fucking home. What were these people doing? Where were they at? Where were they coming from? Who were they involved with? Right, and again, it'll be like if you go and look at the what's the word I'm looking for? Colleagues, that's the word I'm looking for. The colleagues, right? Not one day he touched his hand in an elevator or some shit. Colleagues, business partners, shared monetary interests, all saying different things, but under the table saying the same thing. It's just a wee quinky. Oh, fuck you, Nottingham Forest, man. You fucked my fucking coupon. Fucking arseholes. Anyway, controversial TV was a television channel broadcast in the UK and Ireland. Oh my god, all these people on the internet that tell you the TV's lying to you had a TV channel that was lying to you. Boom, 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 boom. How ironic. Nobody sees the irony like me, I don't suppose, man. Well, that's not true. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. Greetings, Buffalo. Greetings, my fellow Vulcan. Mate, the world is mental at the moment. I was talking to one of my mates earlier on, just before I came online, and we were just in the top for a while, and we're just like, oh, the shit that's going on. And you know what? It's like laugh or cry. You know, like, see, even if you're running towards the front line and you're fucking terrified, I'm just like, well, it's kind of like a nervous humour or laughter. But shit, plus, I've been living off a pasta and sauce budget diet for fucking years now. So I'm well prepared. Oh, but hold on. Might need to just have the sauce. Because pasta might be fucked up because of fucking what makes pasta? Pasta fairies. And they live in Ukraine. And that's going to be blamed for everything. The dove from above, right enough, the Jedi. Right, so let's have a wee look at this anyway, right? So it was broadcast, it was a production company, independent production company, Edge Media Television. Languages, formats, what else does it tell you? Launched 2008 to 2013. Now, I do believe the internet and webs existed at these times, but they certainly weren't as prevalent, aka in everybody's palm or hand. Well, the palm is in your hand. In everybody's palm or living room, the way it is today. To the extent where I think people's habits of, especially depending on what age you are, people's habit of they've definitely switched from TV to streaming, in my opinion. Let's have a wee look at the history. Channel launched 2008. Founder Keith Goodyear acquired EMTV Limited. The acquisition included their Ofcom broadcast license. Right, so this dude bounced out of where and bought a bought a company which included a broadcast license. easy way to get around it if, let's say, you might actually know fucking pass the test. Fuck. Why is it can you link and then telling me it's wrong? I thought that would have been interesting. Not to worry. Oh, you know what? Again, what's the bet? And that's probably the dork. Well, what was it? Edge Limited or something? Fucking. He'd like a save, man. Head like a thief. Yeah, fucking stood me up twice, man. I'm EMTV Limited. The Milton Keynes guy is. Right, let's stick a wee EMT. See, this is going to break the internet. Oh, it does bring that back, dude. Broadcasting engineering, telecommunications. Right, it's got to be the most boring shit to do ever. So I will do that on my own time. But just an interesting note of worthy, I believe, that the TV channel that David Icke and Brian Gerrish were first let loose near to broadcast into your homes on the lying television. Don't believe your TV, people, switch it off. Was the guy who owned it then hired all the people that I'm going to point out, acquired it by just buying a company. Do you know what I mean? If you get me, I find it very interesting. Anywho, so the acquisition included the broadcast, which had previously been used to air the now defunct East Midlands Television as the licence, and the Sky Channel were known as EMTV. The name Edge Media Television was created as a background for whatever reason, I do not know. An attempt to encourage more viewers to stop at the channel when browsing on their televisions. The name that appeared on the Ofcom licence and therefore on the Sky EPG was changed from EMTV to Controversial TV. Loopholes after loopholes after loopholes. These are the people who want to tell you the truth. In March 2009, however, the production company and channel continued to be referred to on screen as Edge Media. Around the same time, a reshuffle saw the channel move from 211 to 200. On 2013, withdrew their original programming from the channel, which begun solely broadcasting Loaded TV, a spin-off of the men's magazine Loaded, that had been airing on the Controversial TV since 2012. So, all these guys, Brian Gerrish and their Sunday school outfits, sitting there browbeating them, talking about, the sexualisation of children through hip-hop videos and all that shit. We're broadcasting men's magazine shit Loaded! Woo! Whoop! 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 So, like, just the pure fucking hypocrite motherfuckers, man. They're just ruthless. They're just absolutely ruthless. They'll buy anything, do anything, have to broadcast anything, call their shit anything, to then get their Bible school fucking study, truther movement fucking shite in your nut. Next thing you know, you want to buy an AR-15, you like Alex Jones, you're militant against abortion for some reason, and you're very concerned about the brown people coming in fucking rubber boats to your country. So, owner dispute. Surprise, surprise. During the dispute, Ian R. Crane. Any remember that? Do you ever remember Mr. Toad? I think he's dead now, because all that healthy living he was doing. You know, all those programmers, all the spiritual shit and all that. Oh, look, this is eat your vitamins, people. don't buy hamburgers in production and bad food. Look at the supermarkets. The Illuminati are trying to kill you through our supermarkets. That big fat cunt. I think he's dead. Pretty sure he's dead. During the dispute, Ina Crane tried to keep the channel in the public eye by founding Edge Media Rescue Plan to solicit donations. Boom, 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 boom. So, their first way of scamming money out of folk were save our channel or the Illuminati. Not going to allow our message to get out. So that money was used to put new programming on when it returned to air, along with developing and the maintenance of the website. Now, Edge Media Television aimed to air programming that is educational, thought-provoking and enlightening, and to show programmers that programs that encourage intelligent discussion, and noted that it provides a platform for people to share alternative and suppressed viewpoints. Regular topics include perceived political wrongdoing. Woo! By the mainstream media, brought to you on Sky Channel 200. Yeah, children, the mainstream media are lying to you through your television. Make sure you join in next week on Sky 200. I don't know, is it just me that finds that fucking hilarious? Thanks, Magic Magnets, Eggs and Flour, I think. I don't know what that's the answer to. That is exactly what flour is. It's like a different, it's almost like a bread. The way your mama used to make it. Climate change, alternative medicine, climate change, and the natural world. False flag terror attacks. Now, it's kind of funny, because now you've got mainstream media. You've got all the old school channels that they point at as being liars, and in fact, I think it was even in fact, that was the fucking politicians or whatever. God knows where the false flag messaging came from. But the BBC and all that were rhyming and repeating it and going, Russia are planning a false flag attack. They're planning a false flag attack. They're planning a false flag attack. Which was kind of funny. Financial and corruptive malpractice, religion and spirituality, vaccines, the pharmaceutical industry, secret societies and other issues that fit generally under the heading of unexplained. Programming on the edge. Now, this is the money that Ina Crane took and started. This is the one that save our channel, man. Give us your donations. The flagship On the Edge was the flagship show. It's a chat show. Presenters included Frankie Ma, Theo Chalmers, and was initially presented by Frankie Ma and later Theo Chalmers and all that fucking interesting shit. Then it was guest hosted by Ina Crane, Andy Thomas, and Brian Gerrish. That, my friends, is the kind of birthplace of what's now presented to you as the UK column. You know, they're doing the same stuff, just they haven't found the method of the UK column that cracked it for them. You know, sitting down there with your wee suit and tie on, acting all prim and proper with your fucking side shed, acting like butter wouldn't melt, telling people chemtrails are fucking real. Well, I was in the army, you know, I've got good little British voice, and I go to Sunday school, and yes, and chemtrails are real, don't you know? So, the vast majority of episodes broadcast live, and one other person of note was David Icke, who again was Brian Gerrish's colleague in future collaborations when this shit all went tits up. And you can, I'll tell you, just shit's on screen, so you can go and catch it up. I just find that fascinating. And then you get people that still watch the UK column and think they're there telling you the truth. This is Edge Media TV. Aye. There's Ike on Edge Media TV. Video not found. And Gerrish. Video not found. Oh, Freeman Fly. I haven't heard him in ages. Used to love him. Used to talk about the Illuminati and all that shit, man. Brian Gerrish, David Icke TV company. I mean, this was just shit they quickly put together. Oh, fuck. I was interested in this for obvious reasons, and it's kind of interesting as they're going through the report. One of the places that they say there's a particular problem is Gavin Hill. Guess who Gavin Hill's constituency is? Carl Sturgeon! That's right, folks. My political conspiracy is politicians don't make that much money, mamma mia, from actually doing their shit. So they need to make money in other ways. Curry favour in other ways. So they might have a pal called Wee Jimmy. And they might be the MP for Gavin Hill. A place where fucking... Oh, Tommy Robinson would love that, by the way. Better get yourself up to Gavin Hill, because the majority of them, I would argue, would be Asian. Right? And it's because I've stayed in Gavin Hill and it's Spot the White Cunt for sure. Right? Granted, it was a long time ago, and they have imported a lot of gypsies and all that since then. I've heard on the grapevine. But I used to stay in Gavin Hill maybe for about 2 years, 2.5 years, something. It wasn't that long a time before I got out of Dodge. I found it alright and stuff, man, but like, as I said, it's Spot the White Cunt through there. Now, that's Sturgeon's constituency, so she's got a pal, Little Jimmy, right? So she goes to Little Jimmy, here, Little Jimmy, see if you've got a spare fucking 500,000 or whatever bouncing about. Go and buy up all those fucking slums in Gavin Hill. See anything that goes on the market, scoop it up. You'll get it for pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. And what I'll do is I'll continue to run this shit into the ground using my contacts in the press. Here's a wee piece in Sky News telling you how shitty Gavin Hill is and how it's rife with child prostitution. And I'll keep fucking putting that messaging out, running the place down, getting the house prices, getting people fucking out of Dodge, making the place a fucking shithole. You buy up all the properties, and then what I'll do is I'll go into Parliament and go, we have to do something about this child prostitution in Gavin Hill. It's out of order. It's really bad. Government funding, whew, directed to Gavin Hill. Compulsive purchase orders go in. The fucking government have hunters of dough. You start buying up the fucking all the slums for 2-3 times what they're worth. I start piling cash into that place, doing development here, doing this to save the children. And Little Jimmy, who invested whatever spare cash he had lying around that he wanted to make a wee fucking coin on in a few years. His initial investments now were fucking double that, 3 times that, 4 times that. That's how genuine political corruption fucking works, in my humble opinion. And that's what we're witnessing here. And my heart goes out to fucking these lassies and all that, because if they say the stories are genuine, this shit goes on. And if you've listened to that fucking poor lassie's fucking... And by the way, she's saying 2 cops were involved in it as well. She's saying that her boyfriend from Gavin Hill It's funny, man, that I actually seen them driving down my old street in that report. But craziness, absolute craziness. And I wanted to point that out for obvious reasons. And it does my tits in what that little fucking Hitler bitch is doing. Right, let's have a little listen to the UK colon.
Good afternoon. It's Monday, the 16th of May, 2022, just after 1 o'clock. Welcome to UK Column News. I'm your host, Mike Robinson. Joining me in the studio today, Patrick Henningson from 21st Century Wire. Welcome to the programme, Patrick.
Great to be with you, Mike.
And also welcome to David Scott from Northern Exposure and Katie Jo Murphin as well. So let's get straight on.
Right, here's this guy, 21st Century Wire. He used to be employed by Alex Jones, who used to be an ex-colleague of Baran Gerish. What's 21st Century Wire? What is it? Some bastion of journalism? It's Patrick Hennessy's website. He set up a website called 21st Century Wire, writes and produces shit and puts it up on it, and allows his pals to put stuff up on it, and then calls himself a journalist. When he's an Alex Jones reject or gremlin, or Mogwais or whatever, can't remember. I need to watch Gremlins again. Then they're talking about David Scott, Northern Exposure. What's Northern Exposure? David Scott of Northern Exposure? What is that? He's not even got a website. I think he's got a Twitter. He created a Twitter handle called Northern Exposure. Boom! That's them calling him, projecting him as a journalist. Some sort of a wise, bearded fucking Scotsman. And then Mike Robinson. Do you know who Mike Robinson is? Hopefully I can find this picture. There's Mike Robinson. I know, man, that's no nice. I wouldn't say that to his face, but it's quite funny. And fucking eerily resemblant. Think his face was turned inside out when he was born and put him back together again, like Humpty Dumpty? I don't know. I don't know what I've been told, but Mike Robinson looks like an alien baby. Right, let's listen to the Monotone Ranger.
Boris is in Northern Ireland today. He's heading over there with a clear message, he says. The UK government will play its part to ensure political peace and...
Right, now, I'm not trying to curry anybody's opinion on this one way or the other. This is where I differ for these fuckers. They're out telling you the truth, my independent journalists. But they're pulling you in one direction. You know, that's why my eyes started opening, bells started going off, when I noticed the truther movement was moving into like some sort of an echo chamber for UKIP. I'm like, what the fuck? Some of the prominent members are actually some of the big members of the truther movement. Don't know if they still exist. Actually joined UKIP, the party with Christine and something Hamilton. Can't remember the guy's name, but it was the MP that took cash for questions in Parliament. He was kicked out of Parliament for it. He was exposed. Neil Hamilton. Christine and Neil Hamilton. Slimy looking motherfucker. That's who the UK column want you to join. That's who all the independent media people want you to join. So they're talking about the and again, this is wrapped up in as I said, I'm not trying to curry your favour. I'm analysing this as, why are they saying this? Who are they? And not just this one individual story, because you could be one way or the other on this story. But like standing back and looking at the full collage instead of just right up and no peripheral vision, getting your blinkers on, as they would say. So this is talking about the the fly in the ointment with Brexit still when it comes to the border and the Irish Sea between the UK and Ireland, because Ireland, the larger part, is EU, and Northern Ireland is Britain. And part of the argument is where they put the border for taxis and levies and all the shit that I don't know about, because I'm not a exporter of goods. But this is where the major sticking point of this is, because it's going to affect people's businesses in big ways. Seen a report the other day about a guy in Northern Ireland, and I think it was a garden centre. I was kind of half watching it. It's a garden centre or something, and he used to import lots of shit for the UK, but now he doesn't do it. He imports it for the EU, aka Ireland, right there, because to get it in for the UK, as things stand at the moment, you have to pay all sorts of paperwork and shit like that. Details that I'm not aware of, just the more broader what's going on. And there's your old wise Scotsman, David Scott, of Northern Exposure, which is nothing. Which is the name?
United Ireland. And at least
Northern Exposure is nothing more than Kip's Clips.
Minor politics to deal with.
So all that is just a fucking name, meaningless. This guy has no credentials at all.
You know, the union is above politics and is, basically unchangeable. I think he's not telling the truth.
Well, there's some structural forces at play. And again, this is more or less unavoidable.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
During the whole Brexit farrago pointed out the fact that, well, you know, the Good Friday Agreement and the fact that
fucking old monotone ranger there,
the
fucking
Michelle Barnier
send you to sleep, man.
EU minister, is a lot
I don't
easier
know
when both
why
sides
people
are
think he's good
under
at
the
broadcasting.
European
He's got the
Union umbrella.
most.
Then it becomes tricky. It becomes a technical problem.
Might as well just go like
Structural issue,
that. And move his mouth.
Okay, well, look, let's move on to because we're going to talk about
pretty much it.
Security and so
But
on.
that monotone ranger there, the
sort of
Infowars reject, it's very funny to watch when he's not speaking. Pouts to camera and all that.
Yes, I thought it'd be interesting just to have a look at how...
Oh, why Scotsman of a made-up a Twitter handle? Woo, you are so wise. Why should we listen to you on something that puts itself together as some sort of news programme?
To May 2021, and we have here a little warning from the bank. It's not so good. You see, the inflation is too low. It's below our 2% target.
All right, shit.
Don't worry, it's going to come back up, and here's the graph, right? So
now, this is what really annoys me. See, to be interested in this shit, right? Not only to be like I actually get what he's talking about and understand what's going on and stuff like that. But the picture, the picture that they overall paint. Like talking about quantitative easing. Oh my God, it's gonna make the pound in your pocket, dollar in your pocket worth less, and all that shit, right? Now you need to be some really PhD level economic fucking graduate to grasp all the ins and outs of that, or not to fully grasp the ins and outs of it. You can be just like fucking through the borders and kind of listen to shows like that and walk away. But these people use people's ignorance on the overall understanding of how economics works to bamboozle poor people. This is what sticks in macro. Poor people about this shit. You know this shit isn't going to affect poor people. You know poor people are already buying fucking value brands in Tesco and other supermarkets when available. That's already happening, and the like the UK column, David Icke and stuff. If you go and look at the average person, they wind up to the high hilt that they want to go and storm the breaches at Downing Street, down with the banks. They're poor people. Poor people. This shit, quantitative easing, doesn't affect poor people. In fact, sorry, that's a lie. to the degree that this affects poor people is fucking unnoticeable sometimes. Like, I'm not explaining myself properly. Right, I'll try and explain it this way. The people that are really get their panties in the twist about this shit are people with big shed loads of fucking cash in the bank. Rich cunts. Really, really, really rich cunts. Probably not even your middle class. Maybe well-to-do middle class folk that get a good fucking potty piss in. But poor people. But they're the ones that are getting wound up and mobilised with the likes of these websites to go and storm the gates when Tommy Robinson gets arrested and shit. That's some crazy ass shit, man, that fucking Tommy Robinson managed to... The shit behind Tommy Robinson managed to get people to actually... Oh good, I did actually just mute that. They just talk about fucking economy shit for ages. Right, let's see what else they've got on the cards.
Don't you understand?
I'm sorry.
Then, prices are going to go up.
I started early.
This year.
Sorry, I started late. And I'll
UK
finish early.
And so are the financial papers. So here we have the Financial Times.
Bank of England, right, still talking about
Who divide to lets, people who run Airbnbs. And it only takes the government changing. For instance, council tax schemes. We're starting to see talk about raising
talking about
council tax
inflation
for people who run.
again.
Comments they made during this to foster sustainable.
Now, when they talk about inflation, the reason they're diverting your attention to inflation, because deep down they're throwing out messaging for big rich people that will get big fucking pots of money. Do you know who they go on to put a quote in and start fucking cheering? I can't remember what lord, but there was a few lords in the House of Lords that stood up and started talking about the Bank of England's addiction to QE, quantitative easing. And now, when you hear people arguing about that, and again, another trick is to demonise like the abacus ninjas, the Jews, of being behind it all because they're heavy into banking and shit. And that's why you get that messaging getting put out as well, I do believe.
Practices to reduce food waste and loss, and where this is possible, sustainably.
Stop throwing out your burgers, people.
But it's very
Pressure on the prices as well.
And let's remember the
food shortages are talking about government incentivising farmers to grow wildflowers for bees, and says it's going to risk jobs and all that. But there's a guy there that runs a YouTube channel, calls himself Farmer Pete or something, so he must be real, talking about how the UK's own crop of wheat is going to be down like 1 million tonnes or some shit. Very predictable.
Green New Deal is named after associating with one another, and it's quite remarkable. 200 years of military neutrality, as is stated on this headline here from Telegraph, has been swept away in weeks. So that settled policy is now a thing of the past, and Sweden is going to be part of NATO, and so is Finland. So you see here all the Nordic countries who have very strong ethnic ties right across to Britain and to Ireland and France, and there are huge ethnic ties here, and you're seeing people who have got a similar origin assembled together.
All right, Marty boy, hopefully you're keeping well, man.
In a way that's not really been seen before.
And I don't know if people can do this in the chat. I know I can do it, but I don't know if people that are watching can go to your channel through the chat room. But stick it into the YouTubes and you'll get there. Check out Martin's podcasts.
And
good stuff, man.
Well, let's just see what he had to say about this.
Russia's war in Ukraine is not going as Moscow.
Yep, let's see what he has to say. You need to lip read, because the UK column are just kick-ass producers.
Their major offensive in Donbass has stalled.
Well, in fact, hold on a second. Please tell me my fucking audio's no fucked up.
Strategic objectives. President Putin wants Ukraine defeated, NATO down, North
I think this must
America
have
and
just
Europe
died.
divided. But Ukraine stands.
Shit.
David, first of all, do you think that is an accurate assessment of the situation, that Europe and the United States are united?
Together we are united.
It's not an accurate strategic objectives were. It's a whole series of straw man arguments. Putin's strategic objectives, as I understand it, were to prevent the Ukraine becoming part of NATO and to provide a defence to the Russian-speaking people in the Donbass.
You might wonder
and
why
to provide,
the UK column is against
which would include Crimea
alliances
and those, as
like
I understand
NATO and
it, are
stuff.
strategic objectives. And
I don't know if
see
this
any of
is
those
true or not. It's just my belief.
noticeably failing. That's not to say things have gone as they'd hoped, but those strategic objectives.
I don't know
look
if
like
this
they
is
are being
true or not,
met.
but if you
This
notice what's
NATO
happened,
down, Ukraine defeated, US and EU at each other's throats.
how's the best way to
narrative,
explain this?
yeah,
The
none of
House
those
of
things are
Lords
happening, but
have old
Putin
sergeant
expect them
majors,
to?
the
Was that
old
what his
school of
plan
the
was?
British Armed
I think
Forces,
that's fanciful.
Brangerish Armed
Indeed.
Forces.
But well, what about
And
Erdogan
what's
and Turkey?
happening with all these other alliances
Well,
and
this
stuff,
is a very
it's
interesting
weakening Rule
report here
Britannia.
from Al Jazeera.
You know, it's
So Erdogan said
it's
Turkey's
making
opposed to Finland
Britain's
and Sweden,
influence in the world less,
entering NATO,
which
and Ankara
certain
could
people
block
don't
Turkey from
want.
joining.
I would argue,
Because
but
it
maybe
requires
I'm completely
unanimous
wrong.
agreement. So Turkey's President Erdogan said it's not possible for Ankara to support Sweden and Finland joining a transatlantic military alliance in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, signalling a possible hurdle. Speaking to reporters in Istanbul on Friday, Erdogan said Turkey, which is already part of NATO, did not have positive views on the Scandinavian countries' move to seek membership, accusing them of being guest houses for terrorist organisations. There you go, that's quite a quote.
Who'd have thought that Sweden? Nothing goes on in Sweden, does it?
That objection seems to be being smoothed over. But we'll come to a couple of quotes on that in a moment. So here we have the Times reporting NATO fast-track memberships of Finland and Sweden to minimise the threat from Russia. Here we've got a quote. This is a historic day, a new era begins. I always get nervous when politicians start talking like that. So that's President Niinisto of Finland, and he's announced his country's application for membership. Magdalena Andersson, Prime Minister of Sweden, said her Social Democrats had ditched 200 years of non-alignment. By joining NATO, the board has decided the party will work towards Sweden applying for membership in NATO. She said, committing to one of the biggest geopolitical shifts since the end of the Soviet Union. And Ann Lind, 60, Sweden's foreign minister, hailed a historic decision. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has worsened the security situation for Sweden and for the whole of Europe. So they then continued that the alliance has played down Turkey's criticism of the failure by Finland and Sweden to condemn terrorists, a reference to Kurdish separatist PKK and YPG groups.
There it is. Right, now here's something for you. One time I went on the Million Mask March with the Anonymous in Glasgow and stuff. I was filming it and shit. And they were all standing up and doing speeches. And it's like, fuck it, I'll get up and do one. And I did. But one of the other people that done a speech was, I don't know if he was Glaswegian or just within the area, right? But he was he'd been over in Syria. And he was back. But he was going back over to Syria to fight with the YPG. Let me get this right. Let me make sure this isn't. Aye, YPG. The YPG, aye. It wasn't the PKK. Fuck's sake. Shit, I know it's in my head somewhere. I'm just making sure I'm not speaking out of turn. If I speak out of turn, I'm sorry. The Kurdish separatists that are fighting against Turkey, they're fucking disputing shit with Turkey and during the Syria thing. Remember, Turkey was actually battering them across the border and all that jazz. It's just a wee interesting thing. Blinks it in with the anonymous and alternative news media movements. This guy was in George Square at the Million Mass March talking about, hey, I'm over. Fighting with it. I'm fighting terrorists. I'm fighting ISIS. Woo! The fuck, mate? Go into fucking Tesco's, man, and chill the fuck out. What are you fighting for? Anyway, but each to their own. If you want to go and play soldiers, with desert rats battering.
The group has waged an insurgency against Turkey since 1984 in a conflict that has claimed tens of thousands of lives. Turkey has made it clear that its intention is not to block membership, Stoltenberg said. I'm confident that we will be able to address the concerns that Turkey has expressed in a way that doesn't delay membership. So Stoltenberg says there's no problem. And Antony Blinken, US Secretary of State, held talks with Mevlut, I'll not even attempt that surname. Turkey's foreign minister in Berlin yesterday said he was confident consensus would be reached. This is the process, he said, and NATO is a place of dialogue. So how do you like that, gentlemen? NATO's a place of dialogue. It's not a out of date, defunct military alliance that's now spending its time stirring up wars in strong countries and bombing weak ones.
Before I get Patrick to answer that, I just wanted to make the point that Stoltenberg, during his press conference, by the way, he wasn't there in person because he has tested positive for COVID, he said. But one of the things the language that he was using, Patrick, was it's sovereign in Finland or sovereign countries. They're entitled to make up their own minds and make their own decisions. And of course, this is exactly the rhetoric that we had from NATO over Ukraine's membership.
Same argument, yeah.
Yes.
So they don't believe in the indivisibility of security, which is an international tradition. So again, we're shifting into this kind of liberal internationalist by the letter and using international law as it's convenient, as and when, and ignoring realist international relations. But as David pointed out with Turkey, they're definitely smoothing that over. Croatia was also a potential a party there that could basically throw.
This is the stuff I find fascinating.
They look to be more coming on side now that this objection with Turkey is being worked on. Turkey also wants to lift on the banning of arms sales as well. And I believe that's in some way connected with their position on the Kurds vis-a-vis these Scandinavian countries. So.
Well, maybe Turkey is using the leverage, letting Sweden and Finland join NATO to get rid of the whatever abbreviation, the YPG or whatever it was. I can't remember. I'm shite at that stuff, man. I can't remember that shit. So that's what I'm taking from that. You know, it's the international shit like that. It's always about give and take, isn't it? You give something, you take something.
Again, this is all Erdogan is, and as we'll show in a minute. You know, there's always an opportunity to angle for some leverage. Turkey will always put its hand in and do either hold something up or take an adversarial position that you might surprise people. And almost every time, what they're doing.
Turkey's got the biggest army in the world.
Finland. So is Hungary? Hungary is definitely
standing army, I suppose.
An outlier in terms of Europe.
Again, I suspect to use economic. And
he's worse than me, fucking looking away for the screen.
Put aircraft carriers into the range of Chinese missiles and US Marines on the shores of Taiwan. So it will be weapons, it will be economic blockade, economic shutdown, excluding China from SWIFT, excluding China from...
Right, they're talking about what's happening in the South China Sea and elsewhere. And go and check that stuff out, man. It's well fascinating. But all right, the Rebel. No, mate. Right now, I'm still excited. I won't be nervous until the game kicks off, and then I won't be able to watch. You know, watching Rangers games are not fucking fun. They only become fun when you're like 2-0 up and coasting, and even then, squeaky bum time if they get one goal back. But looking forward to it, mate. the reason I've got Rangers in the title live tomorrow, tune into my channel, man. I'm going to try and do a wee bit of live streaming of the sights and sound of Glasgow city centre tomorrow, man. Should be good in the hood. That's what I'm planning on doing anyway. Right, what was I talking about there? Oh, aye, right, now, for ages, like, when I see them putting out things, certain things I might even agree with their point of view and opinion on. Surprise, that doesn't surprise me, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to drag me in. But for ages I was asking myself the question, why are they always coming out on the side of Putin? Why is it always Putin's reasonable, everybody else is arseholes, and then pointing at all the arsehole Western politicians and their absolutely idiocracy, and never doing the same against Putin? Or China, as we just exampled there, with the news out of with the news out of the South China Sea, right? They're talking about all the propaganda coming out from the West and not about the shit that's coming out of China. Why the fuck are you coming down on the fucking side of the Chiners? I have no fucking idea. And it took me ages to figure it out. What they'll do, like, they're against the current status quo establishment. The people that have the gig in Parliament, but they've certainly got the support of the majority of the House of Lords. So anything that Parliament says, does, comes down the side, whatever they come down on, they'll support the opposing view to wind people up against the government, because whatever they can get you to hate the government on, a variety of reasons, if it's no Jimmy Savile, if it's no Ukraine, if it's no Syria, if it's no this, if it's no that, that weakens the government, it weakens the current status quo, which is good for them. So it did take me a long time to figure this out, because, like, for years, man, I used to love all the alternative, like, fucking international going-ons, wars and shit news. Loved it. Absolutely. I still do love it. I still get fucking fascinated with it and stuff. But it took me ages as to why all the alternative media was coming out on the side of Russia, side of them, side of this, side of that. And pointing out all the obvious bullshit. Like, whereas the BBC puts out propaganda against China, and most people who know about it like, fuck it, it's China. Fuck them. If we don't fuck them, they're going to fuck us. It's a reality. And the BBC will just let that slide, because they're obviously part of the messaging, part of the status quo. But the alternative media, their job is to weaken the status quo, and they'll do it by hook or by crook. And let's say tomorrow that all these alternative media dickheads get into power, right? Not only will they put the gays up against the wall and shoot them, right? That'll be one of the first things they do. Outlaw all that shit and fucking promote fucking marriage and but what they'll do, they'll hate China as well. They won't like China, they won't like Putin. That'll be out the window. They'll no longer start coming down on the side of Putin's enemies and all that, because they will then be Putin's enemies, in my humble belief. Anyway, there's 100,000 have gone. Scotland Today, mate, said it was more than 100,000, but who am I to argue? 100,000 gone over. Madness, fair play, and we'll see if you're streaming tomorrow night. Aye, mate. God knows what the city centre will be like tomorrow, mate. It'll be absolutely carnage, I can imagine, in a good way. Cars getting turned upside down and shit. But I think it will be carnage tomorrow, man. It'll definitely be busier than an average Saturday night. And an average Saturday night in Glasgow, it's bouncing. You can't get it's hard to get any foot space in any fucking boozer anywhere. I know where I'm going. Well, I know where I'm going to try, actually. Fuck knows where I'll end up. But I know where I'm going to try. Oh god, what's happening here, man? We've got pop stars. Oh right, that's because Ukraine won Eurovision. Calm down, dear. That was all. They must just love the music. It must have been for the pure music. Right, let's listen to some of this shit I'm getting.
Somebody
extremely hungry, and it's by my bedtime.
These poor militants there. So they're doing their European tour right now, lobbying to get their husbands and boyfriends, fiancés released. And they even went to Rome here, Mike. This is a fantastic one. Please don't let them die. Wives of Azov fighters beg Pope. So they've gone to the Pope and they said, Pope, can you do something?
So again, right, I'm sitting here and I'm going, actually, like, I agree with what they're saying here, man. It's like, it's so true, it's so funny, it's fucking, it's really ironic and it's fucking hilarious. Why are they doing it? They're saying something I agree with, they're putting out stuff like that I say to people myself. It's to, again, weaken the status quo and to curry favour with people like myself. They're not doing it for their love of Ukraine or Putin. There's the Azov wives. What did I say earlier on? The 200 of them odd get out the day. Wait for the pictures if they're not already out there of the Russian soldiers keeping them prisoner with all their Nazi tattoos and stuff. That shit will come. I do declare. Anyway, let's listen to that.
This piece by the Telegraph is a propaganda masterpiece. It really is. This is a master class in propaganda. Let's look at how this one shapes up. So this is what they're saying. Currently on a tour of Europe, so they're doing a European tour, Azov WAGs. The women this week spoke to the Pope, spoke to Pope Francis and said they're hoping that he might intervene. He said he wanted to prepare a humanitarian corridor for Azovstal, but Putin doesn't want to let the soldiers go. Say the wives there's a couple of them. Some of them are quite young as well, so there's some of them in their 30s.
So, hey lads.
Here. They're now in Paris, and they hope to visit Britain to ask Boris Johnson for help as well, and they've yet to secure their visas. I spoke to my husband last night. They are out of food and they're out of water, says Katerina Prokopenko. So again, a desperate situation for them. It went into Russian captivity, even when Marines do to people like us, basically.
Yeah, okay, right. We'll need to move on and jump forward in the schedule a little bit and say welcome to Katie Jo. Well, Katie Jo, what would you like to start with here? Well, first of all, before we get onto your main topic, did you have any thoughts on the Eurovision Song Contest, which was such a wonderful event on Saturday?
Does anybody know who this talking head is?
Do you know what? It was really funny, actually, because I've never watched the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, she's a bit young and skinny looking.
Family and friends over, and my mum had said that there'd been people talking about, how we must vote for Ukraine, and I thought, okay, well, let's have a little watch. Let's have a little watch of it. And well, it was clear to see that every single person was voting for them.
Right, we fly, man. No, mate, I do live. I'm starting to do shows every Tuesday again.
It was awful.
And maybe a wee news thing during the week every time I can and whatnot.
Normally it's nil point for the UK, but they were miles ahead, top of the table, and then all the votes came in, and Ukraine just jumped to the top, like we all thought they would.
Yes.
So it was like it always is. It's political, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you know what? By the way, I really wish.
I can't be bothered with it. So.
I wish I knew the fucking Eurovision was happening. First of all,
it always is.
And if I knew it was happening, you can bet on Eurovision.
We want to talk about.
I wonder what odds you would
here.
have got for Ukraine.
Motherhood. It was Mother's Day in America last week, and Calvin Klein, their Mother's Day campaign featured all different types of families. There was a mother breastfeeding her baby.
All right, so they're going to start talking about, like, I don't know, it's going to, like, imagine it's like got a fundamental Christian undertone, you know?
And an interracial couple, and both these shots were absolutely gorgeous, beautiful shots. But you can imagine the controversial shot that caused the huge divide in opinion was
two guys,
a pregnant trans man. Roberto, who is heavily pregnant in these photos, poses with his partner Erica, a transgender woman.
See, it's a fuck. My opinion is who gives. I don't give a fuck. Don't go into, you don't want to go into a gay club, don't go into a gay club. Don't want to fuck a tranny, don't fuck a tranny. It's very clear in my mind. But again, this independent journalist talking head, who would be perceived to be a good-looking woman, especially among your average truther, toothless truther, you would completely listen. Oh, aye, you would be like, she's on for all the boys to all go over. That's my opinion. And all the same usual talking fucking points.
The transportation of CCPS students to and from district school sites by the event organisers. Any inference to the contrary is fully rejected by CCPS. To this end, CCPS has spoken with the event organiser and explained that information on the registration form and any associated flyer must be immediately corrected to reflect that CCPS is not a co-sponsor, nor will for speaking get stitches.
Katie, for bringing these things up. The war
Thank you,
for
Katie.
right thinking and well-doing goes on against many who are treating our children.
Well, we fly, man. The weather's getting better, so I will be getting out on my bike more, mate. So I'll do a few of them. And
the political and cultural ends.
Tune in tomorrow night for live footage for Glasgow City Centre as Rangers fans turn it into a mecca.
Okay, well, we are out of time, so let's just end with a couple of final slides. First of all, David, Grandpa, what was it like living through the collapse of the Western world? Is the text that goes with this?
And Grandpa illustrates it with 3 Calvin Klein adverts. From 1999, a very athletic and attractive woman in a very small bathing costume. From 2019, a morbidly obese woman in a much larger set of Calvin Klein underwear. And from 2022, a woman.
You wouldn't want to see her in the skinny pair, would you?
With her partner, who is a man that.
I don't know if I would physically be able to call somebody that I could see as pregnant a man. Personally, I wouldn't have to. I don't feel compelled to go up to them and go, "I'm going to call you a woman, right?" I just wouldn't fucking engage or steer away from it. Because I don't give a flying fuck if they would want to go and fucking. These people, individuals can make up their own opinion, but these Bible school bashing motherfuckers want to bounce it down your throat.
Confused already. That's a quick summary of the decline of Western civilization.
Yes, and well, the Babylon Bee here. Is this one of yours, Patrick?
Oh yeah, well, this is the baby formula thing. Starving American babies disguise themselves as Ukrainian soldiers in hopes of getting some of the $40 billion in federal aid. There he is there, one of Zelensky's regiment there.
So these guys have made memes and now they're sitting going,
hoping to get his hands on some baby.
Not as good as my memes.
Okay, well, we got to leave it there. Thank you, Patrick, for joining us today. Thank you to David and to Katie Joe. We'll be back in a few minutes on the main live stream with some extra.
Right, I'm going to call it a shite there. Or a night. And there is Mike Robinson or whatever. So thanks for everybody that has tuned in, will tune in and whatnot. If you do appreciate the shits and giggles, give it a wee thumbs up. It's much appreciated. Tune in tomorrow night, at some point. So sub and bell up and shit like that. To see the sights and sounds of Rangers winning the Europa League. It shall be a ball. Okay, dokie, I'm going to do it off. Cheese.
Cips Clip.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95, plus shipping and handling. But the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Kips Clips.